All right, looking good. Sweet. All right. Welcome back to the second episode, guys. This is the Wacom Redesign series, episode 2 of who knows how long this is gonna take. Last time I did some sketches of a cord organizer, turned out really well. I made a cardboard mock-up with a mechanism that does work. So I'm going to revise the form of the concept rather than the mechanism. That being said, I don't really have to go forward with more cardboard mock-ups. 3D printing is going to be way easier and faster. And last time I sketched on paper with, traditionally, that was rough. I'm not used to doing that. So I'm going to sketch on my iPad this time. Last time I emailed Shapeways if they can print magnetic parts because I want to have 2 magnets on each side of this cord organizer so that when you twist it, the cord wraps itself up. And if I have magnets on either side, it's going to snap into place, and that's going to keep the cord from unraveling, and it's probably going to keep it tighter as well, which is a good thing. They emailed me back and said that they don't, unfortunately, print magnetic parts. I also looked at McMaster-Carr. They do have magnets, but it's a very small selection of the type that I'm looking for. And so I looked on Amazon as well, and there I did find some small kind of miniature fridge magnets that I think would work pretty well. So they're coming in 2 days, but right now I'm going to revise the form that I have. I'm gonna make a few sketches, make a few versions of a CAD model, have it printed on my printer over there. And then hopefully by the time I have a few prints, I can probably press fit the magnets in there. But I might need to do some extra revisions when I get them. We'll see. This angle's kind of tricky. I want you guys to see the iPad, but I think I'm just gonna record the screen. I want you guys to see my face too. Yeah. By the way, I don't like to put my iPad directly on my desk because I find that it gets kind of dirty and scratched up. So yesterday, I made a little leather pad to put my iPad on top of because I absolutely love leathercraft. It's one of my biggest hobbies. I made a process video out of it, posted it to the channel. So if you want to watch that, which I highly recommend because it's freaking cool, go and watch that. There might be a card right here, but let's get started with the sketching. Okay, so I did record a live screen video on my iPad when I was sketching, but I forgot to turn on the audio. So now I'm just gonna do a voiceover right now while I'm looking at the playback. So basically, if you didn't see the first episode, I had a circular shape with this kind of groove in the middle. And when you turn the circles, there were 2 circular parts. So when you turn those in opposite directions, the groove would turn, and then the cord inside the groove would then turn and wrap up the cord. So that's kind of what the mechanism is. I want to make it more of a rectangular shape to fit the form of a cord better. And I thought of turning the rectangles like I did the circles in the cardboard model that I showed last episode, but I'm thinking of instead having a dial at the top. I think that would be more ergonomic, it would be faster to turn, and it would be easier to turn. And so right now I'm just drawing different versions of that dial, maybe adding 2 screws on either side of the organizer so that I can kind of connect those 2 rectangular parts together, and then being able to have the dial loose so that you can turn it. And right now I was actually explaining the mechanism behind these screws and how it helps to keep the cord more secure, and it keeps it from unraveling. And then I tried to figure out a way to design the 2 rectangular parts so that you could easily take them apart and put a new cord in, because I don't want to have to unscrew the product every single time I want to put a new cord in. I don't think that I'm going to want to put a new cord in. I think it's just going to be a one and done, but from a design perspective, it's probably a better idea. And then right now I was trying to figure out how to make the size of the groove adjustable so that you could put multiple types of chords in, because chords aren't the same size, of course, so making it adjustable would be a cool feature, but I decided that it was way too complicated for what I wanted to try and make. Let's see what happens next. So with the dial on the top, I try to have kind of a circular pattern groove, kind of like what you see on the crown, the digital crown, I think it's what it's called. The digital crown on the Apple Watch, how it has those little divots on the edge so that it gives you a little bit more grip, but also it's a design feature that I really like. I think it makes products look, I think grips make products look very high end, I guess. Yeah. It's just something that I thought would look nice, especially since the dial will be so small. It would be nice to have a little bit of a grip on it. And then I'm still just trying to figure out how I'm going to be able to have a removable cord with magnets. I don't have the magnets yet, so it's quite difficult to think about the size and the placement, and I thought of maybe doing a snap fit mechanism instead of press fit magnets, because I don't know what the magnet dimensions are right now. And then I thought to have two very thin plates that go on top of each other for the bottom rectangular part, so that I could slide the groove in and then screw those parts together. Okay, so initial sketches are done. I don't have the magnets yet still, but I'm gonna go to CAD anyways just to see what I can come up with as far as 3D shapes go from the 2D shapes that I've drawn. I know the general mechanism that I want, I think, but I'm just gonna go to CAD anyways just to see what I can come up with. Once I get the magnets, I know that I'm gonna have to do a lot of revisions, but I just wanna go to the next step just to see what's gonna happen. I don't know, so let's head into Fusion 360. Okay, so I finished the CAD model. I really don't like it. I don't know where I'm going with the design. I don't like how the parts are gonna fit together. It's bulky. It looks like a transformer. I want it to be as low profile as possible, and this just isn't that. So I think I'm gonna wait for the magnets to come, and I'm gonna try and think a lot more about what parts could work, and I might make some changes to the mechanism. I don't know. I'm gonna wait for the magnets and I'll see what I can come up with, because hopefully this will not be anywhere close to the final product. So let's just go back to some sketching. The magnets came, which is really good, because that means I don't have to think about changing the design and wasting material on my printer. So I can go back to sketching and do some redesigns, and then I can make sure I have a really solid CAD model, send it to my printer, and hopefully I'll have a pretty close design to what I'm looking for. So let's just head back to the iPad, do some more sketches, and we'll see what we can come up with. Maybe I'll have a printed prototype in this episode. Maybe it'll be next episode. I'm not trying to rush this. I'm trying to make it a good product. That's just what the design process is. Sometimes it takes a really long time. So let's just go back to the iPad and do some sketches. Okay, so second round of sketches, feeling pretty good because I have the magnets now. I have a little bit of a better idea of the sizing and where I can put them. I got a sense of how strong they are as well. So that's a pretty good thing to know, especially when you're dealing with magnets in a very small product. So right now I'm just going through some sketches. I remember seeing this watch on Instagram It was by, I think, Wacom Design or something like that. I can't remember his name. And I'm sorry about that, but his watch design was so cool because it was like a little dial with a little ball that moved in a circular pattern throughout the day. And I was inspired by that in these first few sketches. And so maybe I thought that you could turn the magnet on the top rectangular part to wrap up the cord. That ended up not really working so well. I found another idea that I'll see later on. And right now I'm just making like notches on the groove so that you can have like two halves of the groove to connect via a magnet, or not a magnet, via a notch. I'm just trying to figure out a way to have the notch open so that you can put any cord in there really, really quickly. And then I did go back to the screws because I do kind of like the look of screws. They're very industrial. So I'm just trying to figure out how to fit those two rectangular parts together. And then I came up with this idea. If you have a hole in the top part of the rectangle, to put a kind of a hook shape inside that hole with a magnet in the center axis of that rotating groove. Those two magnets would hold that groove in place, and then like a switch at the top, on the top rectangular part to like kind of lock the groove in place, and then to kind of turn it around. So I think that's what I'm gonna go for. It seems complicated just by me talking about it, but I think that it's actually a fairly simple mechanism. So I think that's what I'm gonna go for. I'm almost done with the sketches right here. I think I have like two or so more, but I'm thinking to have a little switch inside the top bit. So the top bit's gonna be two parts, and you're just gonna be able to move the switch back and forth to lock that groove in place. And then again, with that Apple Watch digital crown look, I really, really liked that, especially if you can have some grip on that dial to turn it. So I think this might actually work. So I'm not actually gonna print in this episode. I'll print tomorrow. It's getting really late and I'm tired. So I'm happy though, because I'm really into this design that I've come up with. Especially right now, you can see that I'm drawing this final shape, kind of asymmetrical looking. And I thought to round the top part, I think that would look really cool. So that's it for this episode. Next step is to do some 3D printing prototypes. So I have the magnets, I have my drawing concept, and sketches are done. And I'll see you in the next episode with some 3D printing, prototyping. It's gonna be fun. So I'll see you in episode 3.